Hello, everyone. How's everybody doing? I'm Austin Johnson,
And I'm Drew Covington.
and welcome back to the breakdown. This is episode 3. Today, we will definitely be covering the big news that just happened in the NFL with the trades of A.J. Brown to the Patriots and Myles Garrett going to the Rams, and of course, recapping the exciting Game 7 from against the San Antonio Spurs and the Oklahoma City Thunder. And Drew will probably do a victory lap with Wemby going to the championship. But we'll give our predictions for the NBA Finals and just talk about, we'll bring in a little bit more NFL this week because that was probably the most
Yeah.
busy June 1st we've seen in the NFL in a cool minute. So definitely we're going to start with the Myles Garrett trade. Drew, how are you doing and what are your thoughts?
Doing well, doing well. It was funny because yesterday I started my internship, which was cool. And naturally I try to be thanks. Naturally I try to be an engaged, intern. So I put my phone on do not disturb. So all of a sudden I opened my phone for a bit because we were taking a break. And I see my brother texted in like my family group chat. He just said, bro, with the image. The image said Myles Garrett was traded. And honestly, that part doesn't necessarily surprise me. The fact that Myles Garrett was traded. There have been like small talks and rumors about him being traded throughout like this past year because obviously he's a fantastic player, but he kind of oddly like disrupts what the Browns are trying to do, which is tank.
Yeah.
Like they're not in a place to be a good team, so they need to be a bad team to become a good team, and Myles Garrett conflicts with that. So that doesn't surprise me. However, getting drafted to the best team in football, that does surprise me. The Rams are like, I don't, the concept of super teams is very hard to quantify in the NFL, but they're as close as you can get to a super team in the NFL.
Yeah, I agree.
Like they have the reigning and defending MVP, the reigning and the defending Defensive Player of the Year, a top 5 wide receiver, a top 10 wide receiver. They stole Kansas City's secondary.
They did. And Trent McDuffie was an all pro and
Bro, like
most paid nickel in the league.
Bro, it is in my opinion, they have the best coach in football in Sean McVay.
Yeah.
So all that being said, until like the first week one and week one, let's say they get blown out by like the Dolphins or something. We don't know.
If
But
that
until,
happens, that would be a problem.
there'd be a problem. But until like week one happens, they are should be the runaway favorites. They are
I
practically a
agree.
perfect team. Maybe you can say that their run game could be better, but if I'm not mistaken, they had a either top 5 or top 10 run game last year. Um,
That doesn't matter. Kyron Williams is still going to get you like 15 touchdowns a year.
exactly. So yeah, it's terrifying. I feel bad for that entire division now. Because like the
Me too.
Seahawks, they probably thought, yo, maybe we can run it back. Maybe Mike McDonald really got us, real demon back there. Maybe he got us, bro. Maybe he can coach us to another. You can't outcoach this great of a team operating at their best strength. Now, are they beatable? This is the NFL. Any given day,
Yeah.
but at their best, this is
No.
terrifying.
And like, this is how I look at it. There's a couple of things. One, it's definitely Super Bowl or bust for the
Yes.
Rams, 100%. Like, if they don't win a Super Bowl this year, and I don't want to sound like Stephen A or like some first take stuff, but it really would be a failure because
Yeah.
Matthew Stafford,
Yeah.
he doesn't have that much time left. We didn't even know if he was going to play last year. His back was messed up. He didn't play in training camp, didn't play in preseason. I mean, he has been in the league for 15 years. I probably wouldn't play in preseason either, but
Yeah.
we didn't even know if he was going to start week 1. So for him to then pop off and have almost a 50 touchdown season, which
Yeah.
that in itself is crazy. But then they were only a couple of plays away from going to the Super Bowl. They had a fourth down that got broken up, and the Seahawks actually ran the wrong assignment on that play. Like if you look at it, and then also they had a muff punt inside the Seattle red zone. Those two plays right there, they go a different way. I think the Rams have a Super Bowl. I think they would have beaten the Patriots. I think whoever won that game was going to beat the Patriots.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now adding Myles Garrett, the best defensive player in the league, coming off the best one of if not the best defensive season in league history, like the most sacks ever in a season. I would say 1986 Lawrence Taylor, he won an MVP. I'll give
Yeah.
that to him. But besides that, like that season's gonna be remembered forever. And I
Right.
will say, I I don't like that these teams that are tanking and then want to give away their best players. Just like let's give them to the Eagles, let's give them to the Rams.
Yeah, yeah,
Why
yeah,
are you
yeah.
doing that? Like,
Yeah.
come on, man. Because now like it's hard to compete. But I do think like this is gonna be the peak of the Rams. They have a small window. They have to maximize it
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, it's definitely a win now situation. I mean, Miles Garrett is in his prime, but like he's on the back end of it. That's he's on the back end of his prime.
For
Obviously,
sure.
Matthew Stafford, although we can say probably statistically that was the best year he's had, but like he's getting older. Same thing with like Devontae Adams. So
Devontae is definitely getting old, and then
yeah,
hamstrings can't take that much more.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You know what I'm saying? So we're at a point in which like this is very much a win now move, which a lot of people were obviously second guessing whether the front office believed that when they drafted, Alabama's quarterback in the first round. So it's a really interesting decision. I mean, adding not just the best, in my opinion, not just the best defender in football, but like just the best player. I do think that just hands down, Myles Garrett is the best player in football. Um, and adding him to a top two, top three team in the NFL last year is it's kind of
It's
wraps
gonna
for the NFC.
Yeah, I still think Seattle can compete with them.
Yeah,
I think Kyle Shanahan is a good enough coach that he can compete as well. But really, besides that, of course, the Bears, they like that's my team, and they should have won that game in my opinion, this past year. But I gotta see it with my own eyes first. I think Darnell Wright could give Miles Garrett a run for his money, but that's a I mean, he still got a sack against the Bears, and that's the other scary thing. Miles Garrett is now playing a team that will probably have a lead in the game, which
yeah,
didn't happen. So now he's not worried about stopping the run. He could just go and rush the passer.
yeah,
And
yeah.
they were losing a lot last year, and he still got 23 sacks. So like now it's like, all right, I could just go, and that's a problem.
And also, like, it alleviates Stafford at this age too. Like, obviously, last year the biggest thing was like, okay, cool, this front four is pretty solid, but this secondary is really shaky, and obviously it put pressure on Stafford to perform to a level that obviously he got there. You know what I'm saying? He won the MVP, but like in another year, you're basically saying Stafford, you can like essentially take possessions off because we got a defense that will hold it down for you. You know what I'm saying? I agree with you. I think last year with the Seahawks, I think they were a secondary and a good kicker away from a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
Hell, if they had a good kicker, they would have had the first seed in the NFC. Which I do think, and you can argue that if they play in LA, they win that game.
I
But
agree.
again, adding a team that was this close, adding the best player in football to that is so it's crazy. I kind of feel bad for Jared Verse. I like Jared Verse.
Me
I think
too.
he's a good player. I think I like the stuff he was doing with in LA. Like obviously he won Defensive Rookie of the Year. He was working out with Aaron Donald. It was cool. I'm sorry that you have to play with the likes of Dylan Gabriel now,
And Deshaun Watson,
Deshaun Watson.
Roper Cleveland.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But you're gonna hopefully you're great there, man. I really hope that you at least put up some good stats, maybe get an All Pro, something like that. But
He probably will. Like
yeah,
I think he was all pro. I mean, Pro Bowler at
yeah,
least one of his 2 years, if not both. And I mean, for the Browns, it works out better because he's cheaper. They get 2 first round picks, and they'll have 2 first round picks now in 2027. I do think that I said that in the video I posted on TikTok. I think that they could have gotten 2 first round picks, but at least space it out like one 2027, one 28. But I mean, because Micah Parsons got 2 first round picks and a
yeah,
player. So
yeah,
like, if I know Miles Garrett is better than Micah Parsons, I would have been like, the price is this. Like the
yeah.
price went up,
Yeah,
especially with Miles Garrett.
I agree. I think they could have got more, but I think for the Cleveland, it was really, I guess, at least to me, it was more about moving off of Myles Garrett and be like, okay, cool, we can actually tank now, than like I guess getting this crazy haul. And also the thing is, the Rams, even though Stafford is probably out the door within the next 3 years, I think they still remain a solid team. I think at worst they will be a middle of the pack team just because they have guys like Puka, and obviously they see something, and that guy from Alabama. So
I think
but
Ty Simpson's gonna be okay. Like
I
Sean
still think
McVay is gonna scheme up. Like that's the one person where I'm like, okay, he can clean up his mistakes, and Sean's gonna scheme open at least five different plays a game where it's like there's somebody with nobody around them. That's just how good of a coach he is.
yeah,
So I think he'll be okay in that regard. Um, I gotta say, the football gods must love Myles Garrett because they rewarded him for signing a 5-year contract with Cleveland, and then the
yeah.
first year of the contract, he's gonna complain and be like, "I want to win, I want to do this, blah blah blah." Bro, you knew you weren't gonna win when you signed with the Cleveland Browns, bro. That was a
We can
choice.
talk about
You went for the money, and he got rewarded. That's BS, but
we can talk
that's
about
what
that too. We can really talk about like how players talk about how they want to win. How like oh yeah like
bro.
I
That shit is
believe
cap
that
to me, bro. I think that's a lie.
exactly.
Like,
I believe if you really want to win, you would prioritize winning over the money. If you care about it that much. So if Myles Garrett, and I'm not going, obviously I'm not going to press Myles Garrett in public or in person, will throw me across the room. But if Myles Garrett's like, yo, I really want to win, I really want to win, and you sign a 5 year with Cleveland, I don't think you want to win as much as you believe. If you want to like caveat that statement with like, I want to win in Cleveland. Okay, sure. You love Cleveland, you love the city, whatever. I can hear that. But like, you want to win, and that's cool. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
That's cool. Like, let's not be obtuse about it.
If you wanted to win, you would have left, like just straight up.
Like before this, by the way.
And now I get it. He's on. I look up. I'm looking at his contract right now. 4 years, 160 million. That's $40 million. That's a
Yeah.
lot to leave on the table, 100%. But there are 31 other teams that would have paid you this same amount of money, and you said no. I'm gonna stay in Cleveland. And then when they were trash, like we thought they were, now he wants to complain, and he got rewarded and got sent to the Rams. Like that's crazy.
Yeah,
Like
man.
nobody, a lot of people don't react like don't get rewarded like that. And that,
Yeah.
I mean, is that a problem? Like, is that a problem to me? No, but like we do have to talk about that. Like,
No,
he could
I
have
agree.
gone with the Bears. We need a pass rusher. We don't have the trade value for sure, but come on, man. Like,
Hey man, I do want to say I have so much respect for the Rams as general manager. I think they've done like during the entire not even before the Stafford era. I think they like during the golf era, he's just done such a great job of putting together teams that can really compete and really be something. And the thing is, they never really had to tank to get there. They've been really smart. Getting specific guys, bringing Sean McVay. Moving off of Jared Goff, even though I genuinely do think that Jared Goff is a solid quarterback.
yeah,
And I do believe if you can make it to the Super Bowl with a certain quarterback, I do think you can win it with that certain quarterback.
I agree. And I mean,
Jared
you
Goff
saw
just
what
won.
he's done. And my bad for cutting you off,
Very good.
but my bad. I mean, we've seen it in Detroit.
Yeah,
He's thrown for 4,000 yards almost every year when he's had
yeah,
like a competent team around him. So the
yeah. Like,
fact of the matter is, Jared Goff was good. He definitely like there were certain parts that he needed to improve in his game, but like he was a very good quarterback, especially these last couple of years. I can't lie.
yes, yes. I remember last year I wrote a paper about how Jared Goff should be an MVP candidate. Um, that obviously didn't happen. But nah, I think Jared Goff. But like just knowing when to move off of certain pieces. I think that's something that a lot of general managers suffer from. Like they hold a certain level of nostalgia or loyalty to their assets. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing, but I think it causes people or causes general managers to drag their feet. I've this guy is proactive. Jared Goff is still performing at a high or a decent level, and he said, "Okay, cool, but like there's something better." you know.
And he's
And
like,
again,
I don't
same
care
with
about the
Jared,
players.
Jared versus younger. Jared versus a good player. But he said, wait, there's something better. Not just something better, something generational. You know what I'm
Facts.
saying? And he moved off of it. So and maybe that's the whole like maybe that's the Ty Simpson pick of like, okay, cool, eventually we're gonna have to move off of, bro, and let me draft the guy who I think is great. But
We have Myles Garrett, so we'll be all
but
right.
now we have Myles Garrett. So
But they do have to extend Puka.
they do.
They're gonna have to figure out what to do with Devontae. So like this is their year. Like they
Yeah.
signed Stafford on a 1 year deal. It is actually Super Bowl or bust. If they don't do anything this year, like I don't know when it will happen. But I don't see a team that right now can actually stop them. Like I don't
When
I don't see Dallas doing anything. I don't see the Eagles. I mean, I think they'll be good, but I don't see them competing with the Rams. I think in a perfect world, maybe. Nah. Off of talent, though, I think the Lions could give them a run, and I do think the Bears could give them a run, but I still think they would lose. That's outside of their division. No team in the NFC South is doing that. I
Yeah,
think if they get in a shootout, maybe Dallas can because of GP and CeeDee Lamb, but like that's really it.
yeah.
It's either the Seahawks or the 49ers, and then the Rams. I mean, I said the Rams. Lions, Packers. I don't even think the Packers could for real. Bears.
Their
These are
off
the only teams I like in the NFC that could really do it.
the Packers offseason really frustrates me because they really haven't done anything. And
They have it, and I'm glad. And they let Romeo Dobbs go, and Josh Jacobs got in trouble.
it blows my mind because like I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. The Packers midway through the season, I said, wait, they can really win a chip. Like they were playing really solid football, and although Micah Parsons statistically, like you can look at him like, oh yeah, he wasn't having a crazy season, but like you watch the game, the impact he had on that D line, on every play was so big, and so yeah, man. The fact that they are, and I understand they're the youngest team in football, so like there's now a certain level of urgency, but considering Matt LaFleur could get fired this offseason or next year, I would try and have some urgency.
I mean, they almost fired him this year. I was
Yeah.
surprised. So, I mean, I wasn't surprised, but they were talking about it. But I think I do agree with you. At a certain point in the year, they did. They would have points where they looked really good, and then
Yeah.
they would also have points where they looked really bad. That's why I was like, of course, excuse me. I think the Packers were a threat, like especially like when Michael was healthy. But
Yes.
I knew that like there were points where they could just still be bad. Like they lost to the Browns, they lost to the
Yeah. No.
Panthers.
No.
Like those are two
I
games.
agree.
Where I'm like, how do you lose those? And Tucker Craft was also hurt. I think that did play a factor.
Yeah,
But
and it
I'm
really
not.
came. Sorry.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
No, I said it really came down like when it came to those losses. Again, I think the reason why Matt LaFleur was in the hot seat in the first place is because of his play calling. I think his offensive play calling can be extremely conservative, in which at
Very.
points lose to teams like the Panthers or the Browns, or it can be extremely, extremely aggressive, and you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You're until Micah goes out, you're about to blow out teams like the Broncos. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? Like,
like they can play at a really high level, and then they can also play at a really like mid level, and
yeah,
then Lafleur will spam like halfback dive and not really get creative with the offense, and
yeah,
then it gets stagnant. Like even the playoff game that they had against the Bears, there's no reason you're up 21-3 and you lose that game. Jordan
yeah.
Love actually had a great game, like
Did
he
bro?
got like 350,
Did
but
bro?
there's no reason why they should have lost that game.
The Jordan Love slander bothers me. It really does. It bothers me because it's like there's no
I
way you
love it.
watch games and you think to
I
yourself,
love it.
this
I
guy
will be
is not a good
suing.
quarterback. Yeah,
I'm
we know.
suing and booted for Jordan Love
The
slander.
new Madden cover, Caleb Williams. Oh, that was the one thing I wanted to talk about. I forgot to talk about the new Madden cover,
Yeah,
Caleb Williams. But
yeah.
nah, the Packers they need to do something, anything, something. You know what I'm saying? But
Hey,
oh sorry,
before you go, can you hear this fan in the background?
a little bit, but it's not crazy.
I'm about to turn it off. Just for our viewers at home. I just thought about that. But, hey man, I don't even know if it's like the real cover though. That's they say it's leaks, but like I hope it is. If Caleb Williams is on the cover, one we gotta address it. Knock on wood for the Madden curse, man. I don't think that's gonna happen genuinely because I think in recent years like the curse hasn't really affected that many people. But just in case, knock on wood for sure. But I do think that I mean it would be cool to have it because I've never had a player on my team be
Yeah.
on the Madden cover. I think only really the closest one you could have even argued was maybe Urlacher and like Devin Hester had like the aura, but like you're not gonna put a kick returner on a Madden cover. So I'm happy for that more than anything. I would buy Madden when it comes out if that's the case if he's on the cover. Do I think like he deserves it? You could argue there are other players that could have deserved it more. Like I would say, like I said, JSN, he could have been on the cover. I think like, but like I'm not mad at it, like because you got to think they're putting a lot of stock into him this coming year, and
Yeah.
I think this is one of those things where like he's gonna ball out, and this year three is gonna take a leap, which I think he will. So it might look good. Like you got to remember, Vince Young was on the cover of Madden. Like we've had some like we there have been way worse than Caleb. Like Vince Young, Peyton Hillis. Like I think Dante Culpepper was on a Madden cover. Like there has been some mid to okay quarterbacks now. I will never disrespect Texas Vince Young. That was a dog. But in the league, he was pretty shaky. I can't lie.
And
Respect.
to our viewers to see how Austin thinks, Caleb Williams will take a leap. Go to his TikTok, Austin Johnson Sports, to watch in detail.
Good plug. Good plug. Good
But
plug.
nah, I think I'm not gonna lie to you. He, you know what I'm saying? Aura and hype moments, and that's cool. That's cool. Aura and hype moments, and I think that's cool.
Get
Don't get
it
me
how you
wrong.
live, bro.
You get it how you live it. I understand that there are more deserving guys. You know what I'm saying? There are guys who have made Pro Bowls, all pros, MVP candidates. You know what I'm saying? There are guys that have that. But again, and we talked about this earlier, or while we were on the radio. You look at the top 10 throws in all of football this year. At least half of them are Caleb Williams throws. You know,
Right. So
he had the aura and hype moments, man. You know what I'm saying? He was the first actual promotion for Drake's album. You know what I'm saying? Like it's pretty simple. So I'm not mad at it. I find it funny because my siblings are they are Commanders fans. Therefore they are Jaden Daniels fans. They were like, oh yeah, he hasn't done anything. I'm like, yeah, but like he got aura and hype
neither
moments.
is
I don't
Jaden.
know.
I mean, Jaden went to the one more game in the playoffs than Caleb. I'm
Also, offensive
on
rookie
that
of the
guy.
year, best rookie seasons of all time.
Hey man, respect. He did, but like, I don't think player for player, him, but Caleb, Drake, and Jaden, I don't think they're that far apart from each other. I never really did, like, from a talent perspective.
And to see
Jaden
how
just
I
gets hurt.
detail that, see how I detail
Hmm?
that. Go to my Substack at Drew Covington. See how I detail the 2024 QB draft class.
Facts, facts. Get at that. Oh, and by the way, I have to go back to my past point. I said Dante Culpepper was on the cover of Madden. I apologize. I was unfamiliar with your game. In 2004, he almost threw for 5,000 yards
Ooh,
and 39 touchdowns.
ooh,
Now, I know he had Randy Moss, but that's still wild. Respect.
yeah,
Respect
that's
Dante
fair.
Culpepper. That's actually crazy. 4,700 yards, 39 touchdowns, and only 11 picks. That's an MVP year.
Bro, that's what Pat did basically in
Yeah, like
2022.
that's that's crazy. I didn't know that.
Who was it? Pat in 2022. 500. Well, he threw for 5,000.
Yeah, Pat
41
is
touchdowns.
Pat though. But
Well,
like, who was the 2004 MVP?
good
Now I
question.
gotta look at this
Good
because
question.
that's crazy. Peyton Manning did. That was probably when Peyton Manning broke like a record or something like that.
Probably did. Probably did.
Because regular season Peyton Manning was absurd. But I agree with you. I do think Caleb Williams has a lot of, but like you gotta admit, when you watch his highlights, you'll be like, there are like 10 of them.
This
You'll
is
be
the
like,
greatest
damn,
quarterback of
how
all
did he
time.
make that throw? Or like, damn, there are not a lot of people that can do that. Which shows that like, you know what I'm saying? There, it's I agree. Now he hasn't played like bad. He's been good, but I do think that he hasn't been like an elite level where I'm saying like Joe Burrow or Josh
Yeah.
Allen or Pat Mahomes. Not just yet, but I think he has the means to get there for sure. I think Ben is going to be on his ass about the accuracy. We need that
Yes.
completion percentage up, and if he gets it up, I see no reason why they're not going to be good this year. I really don't.
Yeah.
Oh, and I just looked up 2004 Peyton Manning. He threw for 49 touchdowns and 10 picks. Ridiculous stuff, man.
Good
We
football
used to
player.
watch gods play football.
We still do. Those guys just happen to be Drake May and Matthew Stafford.
All right, bro. Matthew
Um,
Stafford, yes. Drake May, though.
we want to do AJ Brown or move to the NBA real quick.
We could go AJ Brown and just stay on the stay on the NBA the rest of the time. Bro,
Gotcha.
Peyton Manning stats are absolutely ridiculous, bro.
Yeah.
Like
Rudina.
like 5,400 yards in a season, 55 touchdowns, and 10 picks.
Yeah. Rudina, bro. But
But
AJ Brown was traded to the New England Patriots yesterday as well, as most people expected. Um, uh, how many picks was he traded for?
um, one first for next year, I think, and
Yeah.
then I think a fifth, if I'm not
Mhm.
mistaken.
Um,
But that's it
yeah.
first.
Um, everyone expected this to happen. It's been in conversation, even when the season was taking place.
No, for
It
sure.
seemed that Jalen, not Jalen, AJ, and his relationship with the locker room, the coaching staff, had really soured over. So I'm not surprised. I actually am. I wouldn't say pro, like I'm an AJ Brown fan, but I am a little pro AJ Brown. I do think that there are issues with this offense, and I don't think that winning is a justifiable answer to just cover up these issues.
I
I
agree.
think that I think Nick Sirianni is a big reason as to why this relationship soured over, and I think I don't like Nick Sirianni. I can't lie to you. I just don't not the biggest fan of bro. I don't think he does anything really. I think he's just a really good cheerleader. And every time he's promoted a offensive coordinator within the building, this offense has looked terrible. And yeah, man, I think that AJ Brown was right to vocalize his frustrations with the offense. And obviously he wanted out. The relationship, became untenable, and now he's a Patriot. Good for you, Drake May. You have a real number one.
A real number one. So like, there's no excuse. I need to see a replicated season basically of last year because like I love Diggs, but that was not the same player as he was in Buffalo. He was coming off of ACL surgery. So now that you have like a top 10 receiver talent in the league, you better use it. But I think, yeah, I agree with you. We all expected this to happen. I think my thing is I've liked AJ Brown since he was at Ole Miss. I thought he was better than DK, and people were hyping him up at the draft. I'm like, AJ Brown is better, and I was right.
Yeah,
So I've liked AJ Brown for a minute, but this last year where he was complaining about not getting the ball as a former receiver, like you want to get the ball, sure, I understand that, but like he would not get the ball and they would win the games. And then when he started making noise about not getting the ball, and then he would get targets, and he would have like 10 catches, 100 yards, they would start losing. They lost like three in a row. And
yeah,
so it's like, I get it. You want to make an impact on the game, but you rather still win. But I know in his mindset, like they won a Super Bowl, and he said that it wasn't the feeling that he had thought it to be because he wasn't like he had a touchdown, but he only had a couple catches that game. So it's like he wants to be the person making and having an imprint on the game, kind of regardless of the result. Of course, you want to win, but he wants to get his, which I'm not mad at. Again, I totally understand that. But he can't be making a fuss like he did
Yeah.
in Philly. Like, and that's my worry. Like, I don't want a repeat of what happened in Philly to happen in New York. I mean, in New England. I don't want him to be. He's already probably labeled as a diva receiver, and I don't like that. But I think if it all works out, it's going to be very entertaining. I think Drake is going to throw a lot of bombs at AJ Brown, and I think they needed him. And him and Romeo Dobbs would be actually a good, like, they can play off each other. Like,
Yeah.
Dobbs will play in the slot probably. Kayshawn would probably play outside, and then you have AJ outside. Like, that's a formidable receiver core. Travion Henderson, I do think will get better, and I mean they have 4 free wins on their schedule, Miami and the Jets. So I think that they will definitely still be good. We have to see though in the playoffs, like later down the season, like the Bills, healthy
Yeah.
Lamar, healthy Mahomes, like there's going to be more competition. So they definitely needed AJ Brown to go farther, and I'm glad that this happened on both sides. And I like to see in Philly, I want to see number one receiver, number one option, Devontae Smith. I feel
Yeah.
like he's going to
Oh
cook
yeah.
this year. I said Malachi. Makai Lemon, he's going to cook this year too, I think. Besides Carnell Tate, I think he was the most surefire receiver in the draft. You could argue even more than Carnell. So I don't see any problems that they're going to have, at least receiver wise. Now, will Jalen Hurts get him the ball? Because I will say on the Eagles side of things, Kevin Patullo and Nick Sirianni, they were both very shaky in their decision making, and like especially on that last drive against the 49ers
Yeah.
in the playoffs. I was like four verts, oh, double ends, like and double slants. Like he was calling Madden out there. That's ridiculous. Like you can't do that in the NFL. And so that part I am worried about. And just for a quarterback's development, Jalen Hurts has played under a new OC every year since like his last year of college. Like that's not good either. You want to be in the system and just be able to like know what you're doing like the back of your hand. If you have different coordinators every year, you're learning new systems every year. And it's not like this is like grade school. Like these playbooks are like this thick. Like you can't just learn that in like an off season. Like so sorry for being long winded, but I think the Eagles they still have a good team. They'll still probably make the playoffs, but when it comes down to coaching, Nick Sirianni may not just be that guy, and I don't even know who their offensive coordinator is coming up this year.
Well, I just think Nick Sirianni's a fraud, just period. You know what I'm saying? I want to say, bro, I think Shane Steichen, like, is so cool. Like,
Yeah,
I love it when coaches in a certain place and show how valuable they were. And Shane Steichen just showing post, 2022 Super Bowl run for the Eagles, how like, yeah, I can orchestrate a great offense with Daniel Jones as my quarterback.
and like they would have definitely made the playoffs 100%.
Oh yeah, it's kind of sad the way that team collapsed over the season. It really is. But all that to say, like I think Nick Sirianni has been saved consistently by, you know, coaching hires that he hasn't even made. Like I think Kellen Moore.
Yeah,
Um,
Kellen Moore, that was when their offense was at their peak.
I'm about to say Kellen Moore, yeah, and obviously Patullo was him. You know, his call, and it was terrible. I think the Eagles defense has kind of saved them for the past year, um, and how great they've been with Fangio. So yeah, we're gonna see how they are, but good for AJ Brown, I guess. You know what I'm saying? You'll be a true number one.
Yeah, good for AJ Brown. I hope that there's just no drama, man. Just play ball. And I hate to sound like that guy, but I think they're gonna be very good. It's just there's baggage that comes with it.
They
That's the
will.
problem.
I hear that, bro. I hear that.
But we can talk about Game 7. I know you want to do your
Victory lap.
the victory lap, so I'm
Victory
gonna let
lap.
you go first, man.
So, um, Saturday, something beautiful happened. The San Antonio Spurs played the Oklahoma City Thunder in Oklahoma City for Game 7 to advance to the NBA Finals, and the San Antonio Spurs prevailed 111 to 103. Um, Victor Wembanyama scored 22 points and 7 rebounds, and played 42 minutes. But the story of the game really is the Julian Champagnie legacy game.
Yeah,
20
my dog, he hooped. He hooped.
six
I was
of
happy for him.
10 for three. On the other side, Shea had, in my opinion, a performance that genuinely changed my perception of him going into this offseason.
Really?
Um, yes, on multiple levels, and I like to talk about that, but on multiple levels. All I'm gonna say is I still think he has like a genuine claim to being the best player in the world.
I agree.
Um, but 35 points, 9 assists, um, 21 or 20, 20, 12 or 21 from the field. Um, didn't really have a lot of help overall. Casey Wallace came alive in the fourth. Was
Respect to
five.
Casey Wallace.
Yes, was 5 of 9, and from three was 17 points. But their second option, Chet Holmgren, All Pro Chet Holmgren, runner up to DPOY Chet Holmgren, All Star Chet Holmgren, 4 points, 4 rebounds, 2 attempted shots, 33 minutes played.
Everybody on that All NBA third team this year needs that award revoked, man. All five of them, except maybe Jamal Murray, but still, they all
Yeah,
performed bad in the playoffs.
yeah. Um,
I
I don't know,
I'm
man.
gonna give my take
Oh, please,
first,
I
or
just please.
hmm?
Oh, please go.
Excuse me. All right. First of all, I will say that's why I get mad at OKC. To your point about Shea surprised you, I thought that already. Like I know he can hoop. He
Yeah,
can get to wherever he wants on the floor and make very very tough and difficult shots. That's why it makes me mad when he's purposely just throwing the ball up and falling to the ground to get to the free throw line. Yes, I know that's part of basketball, drawing fouls and getting to the line. But sometimes it is egregious. And with Shea, it was. But when you see him not play that way and he just says, I'm going to go hoop, I'm going to go score, and it's like in a game 7 where you don't know if the fouls are being called, so you have to just hoop. You can't leave the game in the hands of the refs. You get a 35-9 performance. And that's why I get mad at Shea. Because you could be doing this all the time. But doing the flopping and going to the ground when nobody touches you, that is a choice. And so that's where, like, because I remember, like I said, a couple podcasts ago, on spring break, I was really watching OKC games because they were on national TV like that whole week or week and a half. But every game, when they needed a bucket, Shea was making the shot. Shea was
yeah,
going to get to his spot. He wasn't getting fouled. He was going to score. So, like, I know it's in them. Like, after that week, I was like, he's going to win MVP. And he did. So, like, when I watch OKC and they try to foul bait or just fall to the ground and stuff like that, it's annoying because y'all don't need to do that. Now, I will say, they probably needed to do that in Game 7 because they probably didn't factor in that Chet was going to take 2 shots. And that,
uh,
I can't condone that. Like, that's like as an athlete, that's not respectable for many reasons. And so this might be long winded, so I apologize to Drew and
no,
the
you're
viewers.
good, man. This is funny.
But you, all right. So your second option, Jalen Williams, is hurt. He's been out
Yep.
the majority of the series, if not all of it. He only played like 10 minutes in like Game 5 or Game 6, Game
Score one
7.
point.
So like he couldn't play. You know he can't play. You know he's been out the majority of the playoffs. And you get the ball and every time you don't look at the basket. Like that's the craziest part to me. He would get the ball and look to pass. And you would see that Jared McCain, the guy who's been on the team not even a whole year, was
Yep.
taking more shots than you and had the green light. And so that to me is just crazy. I don't get why Chet was scared of the moment because you've been in the finals, so you already won the finals. There's nothing to be afraid of. You've already been there. Yes, I know Wemby is a great defender. I'm not taking anything off of Wemby. But like when Wemby's not guarding you, do you have open shots? Take the shot. Like you can't be in a game 7 scared to shoot. And like you would see it, they wouldn't pass him at the end of the game. They took him out. They were playing 4-on-5. Not to mention, again, as a man, like have some pride, bro. Wemby just dunked on him to start the game. He's done that multiple times in the series. Devin Vassell blocked him and
Yeah.
pushed him, and he just went like and just walked around like, nigga, what are you doing? Sorry, I don't want to curse, but like, bro, let's be serious. Like as a competitor, you are in the NBA, and like everybody is very competitive. So like have some pride, man. Like, and they if he played like competent, they would have won. Cause there was only one game in 7 games where he took more than 10. We took 10 shots, like double-digit shot attempts. Again, I know Wemby's there, but at least try to score. They just let it. I think they put too much on Shea's shoulders. Alex Caruso played an MVP series. He did well every game except really I think game 4, game 5 where he didn't score at all. But like without Alex Caruso, they wouldn't have been in game 7, and that's very true. And Jalen Williams. Everybody else though, even though there are some guys on the bench like Isaiah Joe, Aaron Wiggins, I genuinely do like I think if they played on different teams, they would kill. But everybody else who got an AP, Shea needs to get that back. Yeah, I got to get that back because that was
Um,
ridiculous.
I'll start with the OKC with the Thunder. Then I think here's what I will say: they're not going to trade Chet. That's not going to happen. I think this a lot. There've been a lot of conversations on social media about how like, oh yeah, trade Chet, and try and get Giannis this offseason.
That's not gonna happen.
These are first of all, these are stupid decisions. Um, this team is arguably, and this is not taking anything away from the Spurs, because I do think what the Spurs are doing is special. They are arguably, literally, just a healthy J Dub and a healthy AJ Mitchell away from a back-to-back Finals appearance.
Yeah, they would have won the series for sure. Like J Dub was getting 40 in the finals. I think people forget that. Like he was
Yeah, yeah.
last year, he was cooking. Like
I wouldn't say for sure, because
Hmm?
but I will say that it would have obviously give the Thunder a much better chance and allow them. It would take a little weight off their bench, right? Um, yeah, but Chet, man, like you're gonna have to play this guy for a while. You're going to have to be that for you are the anchor. You're the best defensive player on the best defensive team in the league. If you're not even getting going offensively, okay, cool. Just be a force on defense. Like that's the thing about Wemby is that Wemby might not be like literally aggressive at all on offense, but defensively he's consistently aggressive. You were ineffective on both sides of the court. Like they were taking turns. It's not even just Wemby. The entire team was taking turns, just going at you, body to body contact. They were not scared of you because you were not a force. Period on either side. That's an issue. You gotta, you gotta,
and
you
that's
gotta
effort. Like to me, that's effort. Like
yeah, yeah.
you're just not
Yes,
trying. Like again, have some pride. Like you are in the league, bro. Like you, and he's chilling. Like he's already gotten a $200 million contract, bro.
bro. You have to do some reflection. I can't lie to you, bro. I can't lie to you. Everyone knows that you're not as good as Wemby. But the thing is, bro, you gotta. If this man hates you, you don't even know why. This man hates you. At some point, you just gotta realize, bro, I can't go out like this. He did. Try next year. Lou Dort. Oh, here's what I'll say. Mark Dagnall. I think he's a great coach. I do think he's a great coach. I think he's one of the best in the league. Why did you start Lou Dort? Why is Lou Dort getting minutes?
He was
Lou
playing
Dort isn't
too.
going to go to his team soon. You know what I'm saying? But the fact that you decided to start him in a game 7, you're wasting time. You're wasting possessions. He, yeah, he's not what he's supposed to be.
Yeah, they should have started Kaysen, and Kaysen ended up with like 15 points. Like he could have easily played those minutes.
Yeah. Um. Everything else is kind of unimportant to me, other than Shea. What I meant by like my perception of Shea changing is that like I want to be clear. I think I had him at the end of last season being the best player in the world, and I still and in this entire season leading up to this, I had him as the best player in the world. This series happened, and obviously Wemby has done what he's done, and obviously I think he has I think Wemby has a claim to that title or an argument for that title.
You think Webby is the best player in the world?
I think it can be argued. And we
Okay.
can talk about that later, but I think it can be argued. I'm not comfortable saying it yet. That's the thing about me. Like, I'm
Even
really not.
Even if
comfortable
he
saying.
wins a chip, you're not gonna. Would you say it then?
Low key, I'm really compelled to. I'm really compelled to. But like, I don't know, and a part of that is because of Shea's performance, the way he went out. He went out establishing, yeah, I'm still the best scorer in the league by far. Just like how Wemby is the best defender in the league by far, Shea is still the best scorer in the league by far. I do genuinely think there's a gap between Shea and Luca, Anthony Edwards, all those guys. And the thing is, Shea gets it done in different ways. Like I think this series for me really showed how Shea doesn't have a level of athleticism that he can rely on like Anthony Edwards or Kate Cunningham. But that only makes him have to find more ways to be crafty. And also, you can say that like that's why part of the reason why he does the whole foul baiting thing. But
It plays a part in that. I wouldn't say like that's a whole thing.
yeah, it's not the main thing,
It's a
obviously.
small percentage.
Yeah, it's not the main thing. But the way he went out, man, I was like, it was crazy. He really established that, hey, man, I might lose this game, but it won't be because of me. It
Right.
won't be because I didn't perform to the MVP standard. He looked for the first time in the entire series. He looked like the best player on the court.
He did.
And
And it took
yeah,
him a
but
long time to do that. I would say like this playoff run for him, like statistically, it's not gonna look that bad, but like it was a kind of a rough run. Like he even
yeah,
said, like he had multiple games with 30 points. I think he had three in this series against the Spurs, if not four. And he even said like when after the 32-point game where he took 17 free throws, he was like, I'm not having a good game, and
yeah,
they were like, she's like, when are you gonna say you had one? When I have a good game, like they were like, but I think like I said, the Lakers game plan definitely hindered his points, and hindered the way that he played, and then the Spurs game plan it was the same way, like he wasn't he would have a game here or there, like at the end, like game four against
yeah,
the Lakers, great game. Game seven, great game. And then he would have pieces here and there where he just play not like bad, of course, because he's an MVP. So like getting
yeah.
25 is never bad, but like you know
But
what I
it's not
mean?
it's not the standard.
Yeah,
It's not the standard.
getting
Um,
33 a game to then 25 a game, it's definitely levels,
yeah,
and shows either a higher volume of missed shots or a higher volume of not getting to the line. And in some cases, it was both.
yeah, yeah. I think yeah, I think I love the way he went out, and he talked about his press conference. He talked about how he believed this season is a failure, and part of me does feel bad for Shaq. Can't even lie. Like, and here's why. Here's why. Before you're like, oh yeah, whatever. Here's why. We're talking about a guy who could have peaked higher than Stephen Curry. You
How
know,
so?
like back to back league MVP, back to back finals win, back to back finals MVP. That's one of the greatest guard peaks ever.
Yeah, it is. That's true. That's
You know what
true.
I'm saying? That solidifies him as a top three guard to ever play the game.
I
That
think
puts him.
he's still number three,
I mean,
regardless.
yeah, and we can argue that. You know what I'm saying? But that puts him from a guy who's like maybe top 30 to top 15, top 20.
I
You
agree.
know?
But
And
that's not to say like OKC can't win again next year.
oh yeah, that's not. But they could have achieved that now. There's no guarantee you get back to the finals.
That's true.
There's no guarantee that J Dub doesn't get injured again, or let's say you stay healthy. There's no guarantee that AJ Mitchell stays. There's no guarantee that Casey Wallace comes back. There's no there are things up in the air, and obviously I do think that the Thunder will be back. I don't think Sam Presti is gonna just let
Yeah,
this
Sam Presti is gonna
moment
get them right.
go to waste. But I feel bad for him because it's like, bro, like a golden opportunity to cement your legacy as a great player, a generational player, a player of the decade is left on the table because Lou Dort started today and Chet Holmgren didn't show up to play.
I'm, I mean, yeah, I would say that that plays a factor in it, but like that just shows a level of like legendary players. Like
Yeah,
I don't want to glaze LeBron, but like LeBron, like certain situations like he could take over the game, and like you saw, like you talked about it. Go to Drew Substack if you want to see his parody era article. It's on the way. But
It is on the way.
You saw like the last 8 years have been the parity era. The eight
Yeah,
years before that, LeBron had gone in the finals every year in a row. So it just shows you like the level of greatness that it takes, or like the level of skill you have to say, I'm not shooting well. I'm still going to go score. I'm still going to win this game. And
yeah,
there were at times where Shea couldn't just take over the game. Now the Spurs defense is one of the best in the league, if not the best. So I understand why that was so difficult, but I think it just really shows the levels of when we talk about great players, like even someone like Jordan or Kobe, like Game Seven that Kobe won in that fifth finals against the Celtics. He shot terrible, but he was like, I'm not losing.
yeah,
So, but I think Shea is off of that Kobe build too. I think he's gonna be fine. Like he'll have another really good season next year. Um, if I had to think of like what moves will happen, I'd say probably Lou Dort is gone. I don't see why they wouldn't bring back Kaysen. Like he can
yeah,
genuinely shoot. Like he made like four threes in the fourth quarter, and he's just as good of a defender. Like I tell
yeah,
my friends this all the time. You could never go wrong with a Calipari guard, and he's another one from Kentucky. Shea is one. Like when was the last time there was a guard from Kentucky where we were like he kind of sucks. Like even like you could say Rob Dillingham, but like the talent's there. He's just little. Like
yeah,
you know
yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah. Yeah.
So I think Kaysen will be back. I think it'll be hard for Hartenstein to like get his contract off to really restructure that. Um, and then also they have two first round picks in the top 20, so they might trade that up into like higher into the lottery.
Yep.
They're because they only have at the moment one roster spot. They have like three recent draft picks that haven't played. So
Yeah.
I don't know what the Thunder are going to do, but I think they'll be fine. Sam Presti is too good of a GM for them to be bad.
Yeah. Um, let's talk about my Spurs. I'm joking. I'm Houston Rockets. I'm Houston Rockets. I'm Houston Rockets.
Wow, bro.
But nah, man. I think going into Game Seven, I thought to myself, if any team that was going to have a group team win, it would be OKC because OKC is deeper, they have the more proven bench, and they are the veteran team. And then Keldon Johnson decided to make back-to-back threes.
Yeah. He
Um,
finally like lifted his head up and said, "Let me look at the basket instead of trying to play like Julius Randle."
Luke Cornett became LeBron.
Luke
Um,
Cornett, that was crazy. I'm not gonna lie. I was really
um,
happy when that happened.
Dylan Harper is actually the most seasoned rookie ever, if that makes sense.
That's not
Um,
crazy.
it's not crazy, but like it's like it's a contradiction of a statement. Seasoned rookie. Stephon Castle is just awesome. De'Aaron Fox realized, wait, I get paid the most on this team. Let me earn this contract today.
Yeah, he finally
Um,
hooped.
and Wemby had a not even like a great game, cool game, but oh, and also Julian Champagny legacy game. Simple as that. Incredible team win. That's just the best way I can say it. Oh, sorry, I forgot. Devin Vassell, awesome player, awesome player.
Actually really like. I gained a lot of respect for Devin Vassell these last couple series, man. Like I wasn't watching a ton of Spurs games over the regular season, just like highlights and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Devin Vassell's a bucket, man. Like
Oh,
I actually really like him. Like he's a good defender. He's a good shooter, and same thing with Champagny. Like now there will be times where he can be a little streaky, but he'd be lacing it when it's time and his crunch time. He's gonna get that shot. The only person on the Spurs I kind of like and don't at the same time is Keldon Johnson because he doesn't pass. He doesn't pass the ball sometimes. Now those are two clutch shots, and I'm glad he made them, and that was very good. Oh, and side note, I was rooting for the Spurs, of course. I went to a bar with
mm,
some friends in the city in Chicago. You would have thought that we were all Spurs fans, man. Nobody wanted OKC to win. Like literally everybody was cheering when they made a big shot when the game ended, or the whole restaurant was clapping because we did
yeah,
not want OKC to win.
yeah, bro. It was, and I think part of that, I think part of it is like that kind of takes away from like the value of this win, man. I don't think we fully understood how the Spurs are not just like a little ahead of schedule. They are like majorly ahead of schedule. We came into the season thinking, okay, cool, they'll probably be a middle of the pack team in the West. They win over 60 games. We're thinking, okay, cool, they'll probably be a second or Western Conference Finals appearance, but nothing crazy. They beat the reigning and defending champions, and now they're headed to the finals as the favorites. This is, and they didn't make the playoffs last year.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
first
Like
playoff
this,
run is a final run.
like this is crazy, and all in the back of a guy who's like 22 years old. You know,
Yeah,
it is.
this is LeBron level stuff.
Yeah. It really
LeBron
is,
to
and
his first finals at the same time,
the
but I'm
thing
not going
is,
to
man,
compare it yet.
not yet. But nah, man, it is. I think was it the game? I think the game was the most viewed NBA game on socials ever with
Yeah,
2 billion.
I saw that.
Just another burden of proof that like Victor Wembanyama isn't gonna be the face of the league. He is the face of the league today. Um, but man, oh man, it was so cool watching them get that dub. A team win. It wasn't a yeah, Wendy, you got to give us 35 tonight in order for us to win. It was just like, no, actually, let's get this together. Um, that was incredible, man. It was incredible to watch. Wemby obviously won Finals MVP as he should. He averaged 27 off of 50 from was it almost like 48% from the field and 40% from three. Um, and also he was hitting them, but he was hitting them in the game. I said, wait, the pull up he had in transition, the step back he had against Hardenstein. I said, yeah, that's the future go. Who knows? But nah, man, they're going to the finals, and they're the favorites, and they're playing New York.
And they should be. They should be the favorites. And we can, that's actually good timing. We could talk about our finals predictions
Yes,
and kind of wrap it up. I do think the Spurs should be the favorites. I think the Knicks are good. Jalen Brunson's going to get his,
oh
but I
yeah,
don't expect Landry Shamet to shoot from like 70, 80% from three for a whole series. That you don't have anybody on the Spurs that you could hunt like James Harden after each possession and say,
yeah,
this is a free bucket. You have nobody on the team like that.
yeah,
Devin Vassell can guard. Castle can guard. Fox can guard when his ankle is not hurting. Dylan Harper can guard. Obviously, Champagny and Wemby, like, they're going to have to play a lot of five out and make Cat the facilitator, which I do think help them out. And I think that makes more spacing for Brunson. But, like, Mikal Bridges also is not going 70 out of 100 from the field. Like, that's not
yeah,
happening. Like, it's not that sweet. Like, they were playing Philly and then the Cavs. Like, those are two teams that yes they have a lot of talent, but compared to like the Spurs or like OKC, that's a whole different ball game to me. And
yeah.
they gotta show me. I do think the Knicks. I got Spurs in six. I do think the Knicks will make it a series. I don't think they'll get swept or anything like that. But like, it's definitely levels to this, and somebody else is gonna really have to show consistent offense. I don't think that's gonna be Mikel. I don't think that's gonna be Cat. I think Cat's gonna be good as a facilitator, but someone who could get you like 20 or 25 besides Jalen Brunson, that's going to be hard. I don't think it's going to be OG either. OG's not even fully healthy. So who's it going to be?
Yeah, I agree with you. I do have the Spurs in 6 games. I have specific concerns for the Spurs. I will say I think if they put OG on Wemby, I do have like a little bit of apprehension about that. OG's stronger. Um, I mean, like in the regular season, OG played him well as well. So like I do have a little apprehension about that. And also offensively as a whole, they do kind of blow the Spurs out the water. However, again, they've yet to play a defense like this. They've yet to play a defense that is this strong, that is this good at on ball pressure, that is and again, the giant adjustment that every team is going to have to make when playing the Spurs for the next 15 years is like, okay, cool. How do we score consistently if we're not going to make it to the paint?
Right. And
We
like
can't.
that's why it's not an apples to apples comparison when you talk about points. Like
Yeah,
Joel Embiid is not playing that type of defense.
yeah,
Jared Allen is not. Jared Allen actually is a shot blocker, and even
yeah,
Evan Mobley. But like they still got swept. Like
yeah,
so, I don't think that just because they score a super high amount, I think all that is going to come down. Like you got to think nobody like the Spurs scoring numbers were also down because they played Minnesota and OKC in back-to-back series. Both of
yeah.
those teams are going to harass you when you have the ball. Even if you
Hmm.
don't, they're going to harass you. Philly doesn't have anybody on defense like that. Neither does Evan Mobley's supposed to be like that, but I don't believe it. I mean, he wasn't really that crazy in this series. Like,
He wasn't. He wasn't. And so yeah, man. Like I think Jalen Brunson's going to play relatively well. I wonder who they put on Jalen Brunson. I do think they're going to have Wemby on Josh Hart, so Wemby can obviously just play the paint and contain it. Um, I do agree with you that someone else is going to have to show up for them, and I don't think that's really crazy. But I think at the end of the day, man, I think with the way Castle, I have I'm of the opinion that like everyone thinks that that the Spurs team lives and dies by Wemby, and I think that's true. But I more so believe that this team lives and dies by its guard play. If De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, and Dylan Harper are playing well, this team is not only going to win, they're probably going to blow you out.
they will.
And also, they can all attack Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson, he's a guy who you can attack on defense, and he's going to have to play serious minutes because he's the best player on this team. How are the Knicks going to mitigate that? I don't know exactly, but I know that Jalen Brunson is food for a guy like Dylan Harper, is food for a guy like Stephon Castle,
Really food.
is
Because
food for a guy like
he would go at Shea. And, like, he's not that big, and he's not as strong. Well, he might be as strong. He be playing bully ball. I can't lie.
exactly. So, yeah, I think that we have a new champion again. Well, we have a new champion regardless, but I think we have a new champion in the Spurs. I think that Wemby's going to win Finals MVP, and I think that some very interesting conversations will have to be had about this guy at 22 leading his team in the Western Conference to their first title in year 3 with basically no vets.
Yeah, and I think oh, you said OG had
Yeah,
a good chance of guarding. He did a good job of guarding Wemby. I do think OG is a good defender, but like he still treats the rim like Fisher Price. Like there's still gonna be a couple plays where he's gonna get the ball and do this, and it's just
yeah,
gonna be a bucket. So
yeah.
like I just like Caruso and J Dub, those are very good defenders. Now OG is a little bit bigger than both of them, but excuse me. But I don't see him. I see them having to make a switch and be like, okay, Mitchell Robinson, you're gonna have to play, or Cat, you're gonna have to play. Like that's not gonna. I don't know. I don't see that flying for a 7-game series.
Yeah.
Respect to OG though.
Respect to OG and respect to the Knicks. That like this is a like I don't believe this, like this is a really good team. This is a really good team, and I think that they're really solid. I just think that they aren't equipped to deal with the team like San Antonio defensively. And offensively, man, I think that they just haven't played a team with this level of defensive intensity, and just a team that is this good defensively, man. You haven't played a Wemby-led defense. It's as simple as that.
Simple as that. And is there anything else you want to leave out before we go?
Nah, man.
Spurs is 6. You got Spurs in 6.
Where's it
All
say?
right. We're gonna have to revisit these takes in a couple weeks. Game 1 is tomorrow. Definitely pray for any team. Well, both of us actually. Both of our teams are in the NFC, so pray for us. It might be a long year. Um, Myles Garrett, you lucky bastard, got traded to the Rams. But fun episode for sure. Hopefully, there's more news like this as the NBA season winds down because we got to figure out what we're going to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah,
But
seriously.
thank you everybody for tuning in. This has been episode 3 of the breakdown. I hope to see you next week, and I hope there's more news. And yeah, you have a good one.
Yeah.